Welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you. The SME entrepreneur tonight, two small giants in focus. First up is Agrostar. On the other side of a break, Sahapedia is in focus. It's well known that while the contribution of agriculture to GDP as well as to the livelihood of India's citizens is high, the knowledge and information about best practices in agriculture is still very poor. Aiming to tap just that market and provide solutions to farmers about various things when it comes to the agricultural process as well as best practices in agriculture is Agrostar. Mansi Chouksey brings you the story. Take a listen.
Agriculture is the primary source of livelihood for about 58% of the country's population. However, its contribution to GDP has reduced from about 30% in 1991 to nearly 14.5% in 2011. During crop year 2017-18, India food grain production is estimated at a record 284.83 million tons. Despite having a good production, farmers are struggling to get a good price without the awareness and knowledge of technology, markets, and best agricultural practices. We caught up with the co-founder of Agrostar, a Pune-based agri-tech company which is trying to bridge this gap by providing solutions to farmers.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, Shardul. Your company is operational in agriculture space, and agriculture contributes nearly 20% to our country's GDP. What are some of the biggest challenges that farmers are facing today?
So farmers face quite a few challenges in the country, right? It's one of the most hardworking part of the hardworking group of the country, and we as Agrostar have focused on a few challenges that are faced by the farmer. The biggest one that we believe that needs to be addressed was the access to good quality agri inputs. The entire farming cycle starts from them having access to good quality agri inputs. In our experience, we saw that basic issue was not addressed, and so I think that's the first thing that we have tried to work on. In addition to that, farmers face problems of they tend to use very age-old and or traditional agri practices. There hasn't been a lot of innovation that has come in. I think that has been a major challenge faced by farmers. Once they do all the hard work and once they grow their produce, they don't have access to good or direct market linkages, so they're reliant on multiple levels of intermediaries, mandis, to be able to get a good price. I think that's another major challenge faced by the farmers. Probably the fourth one, as important, is their access to credit. So what we've seen is that the traditional forms of KCC, which is the Kisan Credit Card, it doesn't work. The amount of credit available to farmers is insufficient, and hence they're relying on local channels to get access to credit, which tends to be onerous and fairly expensive. So I think these are some of the big challenges that are faced by the farmers today. We at Agrostar have focused on these 2 or 3 key problems by building essentially a full stack platform. We started way back in 2010, spent 2 years in the field, understood their pain points firsthand, and then we realized that look, if none of this can work if they don't actually have access to good quality inputs. I think that's the first problem that we decided to tackle, and we decided to tackle it in a more modern and rather than a traditional way. So we built a platform, we brought in technology, and made an entire range of agri inputs, good quality products, original products available to farmers, which was not available earlier.
Help us understand, who are the relevant stakeholders in Agrostar community?
Sure. So I think Agrostar as a community we built painfully over the last 4 years. When we started, the relevant stakeholders was essentially our team, the agri experts that we had got onboarded to be able to communicate and talk to farmers and to be able to provide a good, the right solution, and the farmer itself, and agri input companies that we buy these agri inputs from, so that they can be made available to the farmer. So this was a small community when we started. Over the last 4 years, as we have grown, as we have continued to deliver more and more value to the farmer, the community has grown as well. Today we have, in addition to these three, we've also had engagements with providers like an IBM, for example, that is helping us with weather tracking mechanism. We have within the community, we are also working with banks like a NABARD, like Adani Finance, where along with them we're trying to work and create innovative and new credit solutions for farmers. That's another important stakeholder group that we are associated with. The government itself is a stakeholder that we have started working with, both the Maharashtra and the Gujarat government. We have done small projects with them. They believe that they can use our platform and our reach to disseminate a lot of information like subsidies, the timing of the issue of those subsidies. All of that can be also disseminated through our platform. So that's been an additional important stakeholder or essentially addition to the ecosystem.
Price arbitrage is an issue that has been plaguing agriculture sector for a very long time. What can Agrostar do to make pricing more fair for the farmers?
Absolutely, I think we can do quite a bit. We first try to solve the problem of access to inputs. Once we've done that, we've built a very great connect with farmers. So farmers know us, they trust us, they share information with us. We have access to information like how much produce is going to be grown, what is the average amount of produce that's going to be harvested. So farmers that have bought these products from us and have trusted us, they're telling us that if we can also help them discover a better market price, right? If we can eliminate some of the levels of intermediaries on the output side of the equation, like what we've done on the input side of the equation. In that, we've done a few pilots, actually a few successful ones, where we are working with processing houses, we're working with a few export houses, where we are connecting with them directly, aggregating their demand, and then on our platform going back to farmers and connecting with them to make sure that the requirement of these processing houses or export houses can be met directly by the farmers without any intermediary in the middle, and hence the farmers getting a better price.
What are some of the biggest bottlenecks when it comes to agriculture sector, and how can technology help in alleviate these bottlenecks?
See, again, quite a few bottlenecks that a farmer faces, right? From, and I'll address on 2 or 3 of these, right? One is access to good quality inputs. The second is access to credit. We mentioned earlier that farmers don't have good quality and adequate credit available through the formal channel. The third one is their access to information. They don't have, there isn't a way for them to get the latest and the greatest in agri information, practices, know-how available easily. So these are some of the 3 things that we have actually worked aggressively over the last 4 years to be able to solve for. The first one being access to inputs. The way we've done that, we essentially built a platform. We made it very, very easy for the farmer to reach us. All they had to do was a simple missed call. Now that can be considered technology, right? And that's what it is important for them. It has to be simple. It has to be usable. All a farmer has to do now is to give us a simple missed call, and we make the entire bouquet of agri inputs like seeds, crop protection, crop nutrition, all of that available to the farmer on a phone. They get to talk to qualified agri experts. They get to talk to an agronomist if required. They get to solve and they get answers to their problems in real time. And if a farmer wants to buy a product, they can place that order right there and then and have that product delivered to the last mile. All along this way, we've used technology at every point, some farmer facing, some not. But without the use of technology, this key bottleneck could not have been solved.
Building world-class agri brands does not happen in isolation. What kind of partnerships do you have with manufacturers and distributors around this Agrostar ecosystem?
We have gone and we've worked with ecosystem players like major AgChem companies, both national and multinational. We have convinced them that we can provide the right value proposition to the farmer. We can provide the benefits and the without diluting their brand image. We can provide the right products in the hands of the right farmer and through the right advice and the right information. So that's how we've been able to win and can bring the entire agri-import ecosystem to collaborate and to work with us. We also had to make products deliver to the last mile. So we built an ecosystem within local communities as well. You'll be amazed to know that we are now working with almost 300 local entrepreneurs that reside in the same villages as farmers. They are our delivery partners. So what they do is they make the product available to the last mile. It's completely technology led. So they have an app, a delivery app, and when a farmer places an order, that order is essentially sent to the last mile delivery partner.
So what is the future looking like?
I think the future for us looks very exciting. We have essentially built a full stack platform which intervenes and which helps the farmer at multiple layers. Now that we've perfected that model, we aim to scale that up to a pan-India presence over the next 18 to 24 months. We hope to be in an additional 5 to 7 states.
Thank you so much for speaking with us, and all the best for your future.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Time for a break. On the other side, Sahapedia in focus. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. With us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight, Sahapedia is our second small giant in focus. The best way to explore a new place is on foot, and doing just that is Mumbai-based Sahapedia that through a diverse network of walk leaders as well as untapped locations is helping people discover heritage sites through walks and walk leaders. Tanya Dubey caught up with the secretary of Sahapedia to understand how this medium of showing a new place and exploring a new place really is gaining more momentum. Take a listen.
When it comes to Indian heritage, many of us think of monuments spread across the major cities of India. Today I'm at Sion Fort, walking with Sahapedia, which is a research organization that is trying to create awareness about the cultural practices and art forms by conducting walks that take you back in time.
Sahapedia, which derives a part of its name from the Sanskrit term Saha or together with, is an online resource that tries to make the history and culture of India more accessible. Since the inception of the India Heritage Walks program in November 2016, Sahapedia has reached out to over 44 cities across the country, forming a network of more than 100 qualified walk leaders and explored diverse themes. Nearly 600 walks have been conducted so far. We walked with Vaibhav Chauhan, Secretary of Sahapedia, and talked about how they are reviving the Indian culture and what the future holds.
Lovely to have you on the show, Vaibhav. If you could tell me more about the concept of Sahapedia and your journey so far.
So thank you for having me on your show. Sahapedia we started 8 years back. Idea was to democratize information and knowledge on India's cultural heritage. So we started in 2011. We realized that later in 2016 that for most of the people the entry point to culture is through their travels, and that's how the entire outreach vertical of Sahapedia started. We actually have 3 modes of content creation online. So we have a central team which creates content on different aspects of culture and different domains of culture, so whether it's built heritage, knowledge traditions, fairs and festivals. Then we also partner with many organizations. So the name Sahapedia, basically Saha is together. So the strength of Sahapedia is collaborative nature of Sahapedia. So second way we kind of collaborate with different organizations for creating content. And third is that we have partnerships with many affiliates which are like scattered all over India. So they create content for Sahapedia, and that's our strength actually. People on ground are our strength. So it's like a controlled crowdsourcing model which we have created for content creation.
Great. You started in 2012. I'd love to understand that, the kind of research that you've conducted in the field of Indian arts and culture.
So as I said, there are around 10 domains around which we create content, and we work with multiple institutions like UNESCO, Archaeological Survey of India, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, different IITs. So idea is to kind of work with the research scholars, handhold them on digital humanities, create content and put it online. And when we started, nobody was putting content online on cultural heritage. Information was there, but it was all scattered. So what we did, we thought, let's start a platform where we can collaboratively create content. So that's how we do it.
Great. So tell me more about the Indian Heritage Walks Festival. You have a new festival this year. You've been doing it for a couple of years. I'd love to understand more about the festival.
So in 2016, as I said, we realized that for many people, entry point to culture is not through books or through libraries. We realized that their entry point was their experiences. So we thought, like, why don't we start, heritage walks vertical? So that's how we started, and now we are in more than 50 cities. So last year we thought, okay, we had kind of attained that kind of scale. We were in 20 cities by then. We thought, let's celebrate this network. So that's how we thought of India Heritage Walk Festival. So we started with 21 cities in the first edition last year, which was supported by multiple corporates and Incredible India. This time, the second edition of Sahapedia is in collaboration with UNESCO. It is supported by Odigos, it is supported by NMDC, a major PSU. Festival is basically where during every weekend multiple people lead walks. There is a diverse group of people who lead walks for us, from architects to archaeologists to historians to students. Last year's edition also had got a very prestigious award. It's called Pata Gold Award. It's an international award which we received for the festival.
Great. So one more thing I'd love to ask you is that you mentioned that there are different kind of people that you recruit for these walks. You have 100+ walk leaders. Yes. If you can tell me, how are you doing this recruitment process?
So we started very small. We started from Delhi, and we thought, and since we are at the end of the day a non-profit and we don't charge from people to attend. So idea was to start small and then scale, and we built this network through references only. So it just we started, we launched new cities. So we have created that kind of community of walkers and and community of walk leaders through references. And then we have a review mechanism in which we ask for scripts, they submit scripts, and there are 3-4 levels of checking we do, and then we onboard these people on for leading walks.
So you mentioned that you're a non-for-profit organization. I'd love to understand, how are you raising funds for the Heritage Walks Festival and also for the research that you're doing in this field?
So interestingly, when we started, we didn't have any idea about how to raise funds and from where the funds will come. We were a kind of a passionate lot of people. We wanted to kind of do what we wanted to. Then this corporate social responsibility act came in 2013 and 14, and to our benefit, protection of culture was also included as one of the accepted areas for CSR. So corporate social responsibility is a big kind of funding source for us. We raise funds from from the government also. Now while we are doing it, is a strong B2B angle emerging, where we realize that these walks could be offered to different hospitality groups, for different travel companies, for tourism companies. So now we are thinking of even raising money from these possibilities which we have explored. For example, any fitness brand would like to kind of integrate their effort with what we are doing, because so we are exploring, maybe by next year you will see a lot of sponsorship coming in for India Heritage Walks.
Great. So because a lot of people are doing these walks now, and a lot of organizations have started conducting these walks, I'd love to understand, what is your USP and how are you having a differentiated marketing strategy to make this happen?
So how we are different, we are not offering walks in isolation. So Sahapedia is a knowledge resource. It's a content resource. So the extension of activity is from content. So there's a direct linkage from content. There's a lot of content curation we do, and we just don't do these walks randomly. So there's a lot of curation happens, and we integrate it with the online property, which is Sahapedia. So for example, XYZ monument, we relate it with the content. So our team curates content around that, sends it to people so that they are better prepared when they are. So there's a lot of hand holding, there's a lot of content angle, academic angle which is there, and we largely use social media, for marketing, and because our user group is on social media. So we use a lot of Instagram. So as part of the festival, we are also doing Insta meets. So photographers will come for this Insta meet. So it helps us two ways, because it brings in virality, it helps in discoverability, and also helps us in marketing. Now there is Sahapedia walking community what we have created in different cities.
You guys have expanded to a lot of cities, but when it comes to heritage and Indian heritage, it's not just limited to your major cities.
Right.
They're also in tier 2 and tier 3 market.
Yeah.
How difficult or easy has it been for you to penetrate these markets?
So to our surprise actually, and as you rightly said, there are there are many activities in major cities. So we were very conscious that we want to include a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities. And to our surprise, we have seen kind of incredible response we have got in these smaller cities. So for example, festival, we have added more than 17 tier 2, tier 3 cities, including Bharuch, including Vijayawada, including Bikaner. And response, because I keep getting these messages in the morning around different walks. And they've told me more than 50 people come for walk even without registration. So that's the kind of enthusiasm we are getting, and we are going to add more and more tier 2, tier 3 cities. Interestingly, whether it's online content or these activities, vernacular is going to be the surge going forward. So we also plan to do in the coming years a lot of vernacular walks. We want to interpret the local heritage in the local language for the community.
Great. So let's end this interview with a very interesting question as such. What are your expansion plans, and what you already talked about, partnering with different organizations and different hospitality brands. I'd love to understand what is the future of Sahapedia.
So future of Sahapedia is that right now we have created an informational base. We want to become transactional. We want to migrate from being informational to transactional. Because we realize that yes, documentation and awareness creation helps, but we also want to get into direct intervention. For example, creating market opportunities for artisans. And we realize that, because a lot of people write to us about where to buy this, how to attend this, making Sahapedia transactional. So that's where we see the future for Sahapedia. So while we remain informational, we become transactional going forward.
Great. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Started as an online resource center, Sahapedia hopes to make India's culture and history more accessible to the masses. The non-profit organization has also collaborated with MNCs and raised money through CSR, even as these walks create livelihood for the artisans involved.
Alright, that's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us, or like either Agrostar or Sahapedia want to be featured here on the show, here's how you get in touch. leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com is our email ID. Reach us also on social media, Sunanda_J or LOT_ET Now on Twitter, Leaders of Tomorrow and ET Now on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. As per the new tri-tariff order, you now have the power to choose and pay only for the channels you love. To keep watching Leaders of Tomorrow on ET Now, call your cable or DTH operator and get the Times movies and news pack now.